welcome back to the SilmFilm script discussion, season 2, episode 11, part 2. Been an entertaining evening thus far. Just so you know, if you're watching this in the future, you can look down below and you will find a link to Myth Moot 4, which is taking place the 1st through the 4th of next June. If you're watching it now, it's over on the side there, or that way if I'm mirrored. I don't know. Anyway, so Myth Moot 4 is a conference that's going to be taking place near Dulles Airport in Virginia, which is just outside of Washington, D.C. It's going to be an exciting time. I plan on being there. I believe Marie plans on being there. Other people plan on being there. Brian can't be there because he's on the other side of the planet.
Yay.
Poor Brian.
Poor Brian. We're sad.
Don't pity me. My life is awesome.
I've lived your life. It has awesome moments.
You haven't lived my life exactly.
That's true.
For example, I have the internet. That's a big one.
Hey!
No, that helps. That definitely helps.
I had internet, just not, obscene.
That's not the internet.
Just obscene, not obscene sites like YouTube or Facebook. But there's plenty of websites where you can get whatever you want, so I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway. So
gotta make money.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've kind of got the teaser laid out, being the that we show Formenos partially under construction. I think at least like the main house should be done.
Oh yeah, no. We should start with like the main house at least, or at least the main rooms of the main house more or less done.
It should be complete enough that the fact that they're living there doesn't look ridiculous.
Like, we don't need to see them showing up, moving in.
No.
Right. So there can still be like tents and stuff set up that we can see temporary structures.
And outdoor forges.
But they're like fake.
Right. Like, so there can be some things that are clearly not finished, but at the same time, it's far enough along that everyone can live there and it's not ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So we get that. What else do we want to see in that? Like, we get the sweeping shot of Formenos. What else? We have to show Feanor and Finwe there.
Right.
Because we have to make sure that we know that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even like establishing shots of some of the major players so that we know that they are also there.
Well, yeah, if it's a teaser, we should kind of like reveal different things going on with different groups.
Right. And
it's kind of like an overview.
Right. Maybe show Finwe and Feanor like overseeing the construction. Or should Finwe be the one overseeing the construction because Feanor has better things to do?
We should see Feanor first and Finwe only a little bit later, so that it should be a little bit of a surprise that Finwe's there.
But I kind of don't want to see Feanor doing anything that isn't hammering something on a forge or sitting in a dark room being very broody. I kind of want him to be very inert this whole episode, unless he's actively making something.
Can he be making the gates?
Or like the mechanism that locks the gates.
Yeah, whatever, the metal part of the gates, whatever that is.
This could be a good chance to show something that Finwe may actually be better at than his son, that being like the architecture and whatnot.
True, because we showed Finwe being involved in the construction of Aqualande and of course of Tyrion, so Finwe knows how to build a city. This will be the third one for him. Right.
So, I mean, it's I feel like it's not terrible have one thing that Dad is good at.
Yes, I agree. Especially
we need to throw Finwe a bonus sometime.
Yeah. So Formenos being his design kind of works. We could actually see Feanor working on like the locks for the gates, and Finwe comes in and is like, do you really think we're gonna need that? Which I feel like I'm sliding very, very dangerously towards. Finwe makes a dumb call once again because, like, Melkor's going to bash in the locked door. Well, I mean, Melkor's going to bash in the locked door anyway, so.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of calling attention like, why do we need locks for our doors?
Yeah.
It might make more sense for him to be like, really? Is that the most important thing to be doing right now? Can't we do that?
And
be
Feanor's
overseeing the blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
So if Finway's being more big picture and Feanor's focused on a little particular task, Finwe could call him on that, and then it would look like leadership. Because Finwe is supposed to know how to do leadership, although he obviously doesn't.
Right. Well, he's distracted at every key decision-making point in his career.
That's true. That's true.
So.
Okay. So we get the that, and that's like establishing shots of the main cast who are going to be who live there, and who we're going to be talking about. We should definitely see Lythros doing something. We should see Nerdanel something.
I would really like Feanor to call attention to the fact that he won't feel safe until his, the lock of his own designing is on the gates of his stronghold.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, it's a dumb thing to say, but that's kind of where Feanor's at this point, right? Where he's like, I'm the only one I can count on. Like, even, you know what I mean? Like, unless I've designed it and it's put up to my specifications, I'm not going to feel comfortable here.
Yep.
Because the Valar are everywhere and their spies are everywhere.
Yeah.
And which is, again, like, it's dumb because the Valar are not going to be kept out by a simple lock.
Well, also, I like the idea
of
him saying that the Valar spies are everywhere. If we're going to establish that they knew that he drew sword on his brother, like randomly.
I don't know if spies are everywhere is exactly the dialogue I would choose, but that kind of sentiment where he's like,
the difference. The perception of safety is a very odd thing, and what makes people feel safe and when they're actually safe don't always match. So if someone has been the victim of a crime,
well, I mean, he's
they probably don't feel safe in their own home anymore.
Right.
And so he perceives himself as being a victim of the Valar's heavy-handedness.
Right.
And so he's going to do what he can to make his own space safe.
Exactly.
Even if it doesn't.
And he has such a high opinion of it.
Out of another home.
Yeah, whatever. But I think if we give him some dialogue that makes it very clear that he's falling into this very suspicious, I don't feel safe here mindset, then we know where he is. And we should know that at the very beginning of the episode. So I agree that should be like
we could even foreshadow the fact that has he talked about wanting to go back to Middle Earth yet? No, right?
Yes.
Not really?
Yes.
Has Feanor talked about it though? It certainly has come up a few times, but has Yeah, he did with the children. He did say something about we should go back and reclaim our birthright before.
Right.
So.
Okay, yeah, then he should kind of continue on that. He's not that he's decided that he wants to actually, pick up and leave right now, but he's saying.
Well, at least there, the Valar are breathing down
he
your
might
neck.
even throw it in Finway's face. He might kind of get cranky about it and be like, this is your fault. The fact that we're even here is your fault. We should have been back in Middle Earth when they have their little exchange, and instead you brought our people under the oppressive eye of the Valar.
But what is Finway going to say to that, though? I mean,
nothing, of course.
Well, I don't know that
he take it and then walk away with his tail.
Right. Well, that's the problem. Is that
no, I know what Finway would say to that.
Okay. What's that?
That's not what your mother wanted. Finway.
Wow, what a knife twister! Holy cow! Good job.
Finway knows Feanor very well.
Yeah.
And he is priding himself on that. Yeah. In going there. He's like, I know my son and I'm here for him. So if Feanor's going to do something like that, Finway's going to go for what he knows is important to Feanor. So I don't think he's doing it as a knife twist. I mean, I realize it is, but it would be more of a, I know that you would have wanted to make your mother proud, and it's important that I share her view with you because I know it matters to you. That kind of thing.
And of course, he takes it like a petulant brat because that's what he
He's
is.
Feanor, but yeah.
All right, so
I think Feanor in this I think Finwe in this episode is going to be completely different than Finwe in every other episode up to this point.
Well, I mean, his environment has completely changed. Basically, he's not really a king anymore. He's just kind of being dad.
Right. So we're seeing Finwe as dad for the first time.
Yeah.
And he's a little better at dad.
I'd like to give him as many good, positive moments in this episode as possible.
Yeah. So that we really care when he dies next episode.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
he's
gonna get killed at episode 13. We need to see him being a good guy.
Yeah.
You know? And I'd like to see him doing and saying things that we approve of.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So
I mean, let's be honest. You stack them up together, Finwe wins every time over Feanor. In terms of who would I rather spend time with?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. No one actually wants to hang out with Feanor.
It depends on what we're doing. If I could get Feanor to teach me how to make stuff, I'm gonna hang out with Feanor.
I don't. Male fascination with blacksmithing has always baffled me. It's hot, it's loud, it's uncomfortable. I don't know. Take a keyboard any day of the week.
But yes, personality-wise, Finwe would be a much more fun person to spend time with. Feanor is kind of a jerk all the time to everybody, and he's going to let you know that he thinks you're not good enough.
Yeah.
So
nobody's good enough because he's
right.
So we get our teaser. We show other people that we're going to talk to doing things. We also, all right. So now we need to get into Act 1, where we need to make sure that we see Feanor and Nerdanel together in this episode. We need to see that their marriage is on the ropes.
Yeah. I think in every scene, Nerdanel needs to come into a room where Feanor is, so
that they're clearly apart.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Well, not just that, but that she's the only one making overtures, and he's just kind of wrapped up in his own nonsense.
Yeah. No, I like that. Could we possibly transition from the teaser into Act 1 in that way? Like have Nerdanel come in as Finwe is leaving, looking sad?
Or, well, I don't know if he needs to look sad exactly, but
hurt or something. If his son tells him off, it doesn't matter whether.
I think they have like a disagreement, but like Finwe walks away from it going like, I think he gets what I was trying to tell him. You know, like he knows Feanor well, but he still doesn't, you know, Feanor's his whole everything, right? Like he's not gonna, even when Feanor's actually trying to be a dick to him, I don't think he's gonna see it that way, you know?
Yes.
He's way too rosy on Feanor.
Yeah, and just way too invested in things to let
a disagreement really sour their relationship, you know? Like if Feanor really, really wrecked his relationship with his dad would probably pull a Muriel, you know what I mean?
Well,
that's kind of how I see it.
But the thing is, okay, the way I see it is Feanor kind of walked out on his dad over Indus when they got married. Like, he moved on with his life and moved out and married Nerdanel young and, you know, just did all that almost in direct response to his dad's remarriage.
Yeah.
So the fact that Finwe gets to be in the same place as Feanor and they're living together, Finway's like, this is great.
Yeah.
You know,
things are going to be just like they used to be.
Exactly. So from Finway's point of view, yeah, sure, Feanor's being a little brusque, but that's what happens when your adult kids move back home. You know, there's an adjustment period. It's fine.
For him, I think he kind of sees it as like, you know, this happened because we were apart for so long, and now we're together, and so I'm gonna, even if he's not super psyched about his attitude, he can say to himself, you know, like, I'm gonna weather this, and he's gonna come around, and it's gonna be fine.
Right.
And so every conversation he comes away from, he thinks he's made another step on that journey, right?
Yes. So that's
regardless
Finway throughout this episode.
Reality.
Do we want to make Finway the protagonist?
We could do that. He'd get a lot more screen time, certainly. If we
that's true. That's true.
I think I'd rather make him the B plot, though.
Right. The only problem is that he's not really, like, there's not really a lot that's going to change.
They're not going to grow as much as Finway hopes they're going to grow.
Right.
Okay. I see. So they're B plot. Okay. So Nerd and Elle is the protagonist,
right.
and that unravels. Finway is a much more hopeful B plot that has some glimmers of growth, but the audience should pick up that Feanor is being a much bigger jerk than Finway is admitting.
Yeah.
I actually think in that sense that they should almost kind of be not like competing exactly, but as things kind of go further south with Nerd and Elle, and she gets angrier and angrier that he's being such a pig-headed man. Finway is kind of actually seems like he's making headway. Like he starts to come around on Feanor's sort of opinion of the Valar, not as hostile, but he kind of, you know, I mean, he said it himself, right? He holds himself unkinked, and the reason for that is because he's basically pitching a fit the same way Feanor would,
right?
Over how things were handled. Well, you didn't, you know, get my stamp and signature and blah blah blah. All right.
Well, I mean, so one thing that we could do potentially to get into Act 1 then is we could start off Act 1 with Indus arriving for a visit, and with Nerd and Elle being the one who is at the gate when she gets there. And if Nerd and Elle immediately is like, oh yeah, absolutely, come on in. And if she goes to tell Feanor that Indus has come for a visit, and Feanor kind of almost blows up on her a little bit, like, why do you think I would want her here?
Why did you let her in to the foyer?
Right.
And I'm not saying that happens in the presence of Indus.
Right.
Yeah, I think that if Feanor is going to speak his mind, it definitely doesn't happen in Indus's presence, because even Feanor, at this point in the story, still knows that mouthing off about Indus publicly, like in Finway's hearing, for instance, is not okay. Like, he'll yell at Nerd and Elle, but he's not going to yell.
Yeah.
Right. So that would give us an opportunity to see that interaction starting to take place.
Okay.
Now, I remember there had been some question of what Nerd and Elle's position is on this, like why it's important to her that what she hits Feanor with when he's like, why on earth would you let her in? What makes you think I would want her here? Blah 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 blah.
Didn't invite her for you, idiot.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is that, well, she's here to see your father.
Yeah.
Who gave up his kingship for you. You know, I thought it would be a good gesture to him.
Yeah. Right. And
does Feanor have a response to that?
None that I would use at this stage of the episode. I think he just kind of swallows it. It's like, all right, fine. Be gone.
He might have a response for Nerd and Elle. Like, he might not have anything more to say about Indus, after he blows up, like there's nothing more to say. But he could say something to her about, like, since when did you speak for me, or why do you think
right.
Why were you making that choice?
And he could say that he doesn't want to ever hear of her showing up again, too.
Yeah, so I mean, he could put some kind of ultimatum, something to push back pretty hard on their mouth for having done that without his say so.
So he could say something to the effect of that, you know, whatever, she's here, if she's going to come here, whatever, I just don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me. So, and we can move from there into the conversation between Indus and Finwe, where we get the why, the how, you know, what led to Finway's decision to come here.
Yeah.
The question is, if we do a flashback, then it's not going to be in Formenos.
Yeah, I think that's fine though, because the characters are in Formenos. Like, showing the world outside of Formenos is not bad. What we're supposed to do is limit the perspective to Formenos.
Right.
To keep it contained.
Right. Okay.
That's my thinking. Now, it's possible that the execs will take a look at it and be, we told you to make everything happen in Formenos. Why are people going to Tyrion? But I think it's okay.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
Well, no, just because I think it's valuable to show.
No, I agree 100%. That's why it's hard. Like, this is useful and does things that we needed to do in the script. It just happens not to happen in Formenos. I don't know what you want.
Yeah. Okay. So if we so we can show them, we can show that their relationship is still a good one.
Indus and Finwe, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, you know, as kind of like a counterbalance to this disintegrating relationship.
Right.
And we can show that, you know, like we could have something where Indus could say something to the effect of, no, I understand why, I get it. Like, I understand why you came here, and that could lead us into the flashback where he explains why.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that Indus supporting Finway's decision is important here. So even if it's not a, well, I wouldn't have done that myself thing, obviously she didn't do it herself.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we show Finwe asking how the other kids are doing, like Fingolfin and Finarfin and the two daughters, then and Indus being very happy to give him the update, like, it's clear that they've decided as a family that her job is to support the other kids and his job is to support Feanor, and they're both trying to be good parents here.
Right.
You know,
and showing that
they're
does
a team.
care about the other kids too.
Right. That they're working as a team to try to help the whole family despite this falling
Which
out.
is a continuation of the plot that we had started, where they're still trying to reconcile everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think showing them moving forward together and in agreement as a team with maybe some minor hard feelings, but nothing dangerous, would be a very good foil for what's going on with Earth now.
Yeah. Okay, why don't we take a break real quick? Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been the SilmFilm Script Discussion, Season 2, Episode 11, Part 2. If you are watching this live, we'll be back in a few minutes. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, definitely like and share the videos if you like and want to share them. If you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe. Also, check out the links below so you can get the information on Mythmoot 4, which is taking place next June, 1st through the 4th. Back in a minute.